Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if your name is Sean Diddy Combs, ish has hit the fan. There are 7 new lawsuits filed against you from Tony Buzzy. Now, before y'all be like, Tisa, that's old. Those lawsuits for last week, no, there weren't. Busby said he was going to start releasing lawsuits in waves. And Diddy didn't play ball, and he has said true to his word. If you want to go through, so there were 6 last week. There's 7 this week. That is 13. The most disturbing is in this lawsuit, the A minors are starting to come out. There is a 13-year-old little girl. There is a 17-year-old. There's all these things that Diddy needs to answer for. If you want the details about what was alleged, and trigger warning, it is disturbing, please go watch my live. I'll link it below. We go through every lawsuit in particular, and you will actually hear. You don't have to wait for TMZ to tell you what is important. You can hear everything for yourself and make up your own mind. Now, why is this lawsuit a game changer? Well, it is a game ender for Diddy. If any of those things can be proven true, there is no law protecting you. Somebody underage cannot give consent. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what they signed. It doesn't matter why they were there. It doesn't matter what they were wearing. It does not matter. Okay? When you look at that, when you look at the gun charges, when you look at the trafficking charges, when you look at the money laundering charges, when you look at everything, it is curtains for Diddy. So what's Diddy's defense, right? Diddy's defense, and I lie to you not, this man's arrogance, ignorance, and pure hubris knows no bounds. Diddy is asking the judge to muzzle witnesses and their attorneys in the criminal case. He says he's the victim of pure character assassination by witnesses and their attorneys in his federal criminal case. And he claims that he wants detractors to shut up so he can get a fair trial. He actually said he wants the detractors to shut the hell up. That was a quote from TMZ. This is the type of person we're dealing with. Now, let me tell y'all something. I find this laughable because when Diddy had all the power, when Diddy's lawyers thought that they were running game, they were disparaging every person that came out with a lawsuit and their lawyers. They went after Blackburn. They went after Wigdor. They went after every single lawyer, right? They went after every single victim. Now there's, at this point, I would say 135, but now we're up to 141 cases. Men, women, and children coming out saying, no, he is a monster. Now all of a sudden you want people to be quiet. This is the same hubris he used with the U.S. Attorney's Office to get people to be like, I want the U.S. Attorney's Office and not be able to talk to anyone. Meanwhile, they're leaking up TMZ and every other person daily. Diddy got some nerve. I'm sure this will be denied. How are you telling victims that they are not allowed to talk about their civil cases while you are being prosecuted for crimes against the American people? When the federal government steps in, it's not just a crime against an individual. You are being prosecuted for a crime against American people. Diddy says he's the victim of pure character assassination by witnesses and their attorneys in his federal criminal case, and he claims it's depriving him of his right to a fair trial. That's right, Diddy. How you going to backpedal? How you going to paint yourself? Sorry. How are you going to do a Janice Combs special? My son's a good man. How are you going to depict yourself as a devoted father and a loving this and a community activist when there are 141 people and counting coming out and saying you are worse than the devil? Baby, it's not assassination if it's true. And everybody has the right to speak their mind in court matters. Remember when you were speaking your mind in court matters and you thought you had the upper hand? Yeah, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the bang bang. Or that saying, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, especially if those serial numbers are filed off and they are discovered in a federal raid. Anyway, let's get into this. They said, according to new legal talks obtained by TMZ, right? Diddy says he has a constitutional right to a fair trial, but he's not going to get one if his detractors, namely his multiple accusers and their lawyers, don't stop flapping their gums to reporters. Excuse you? You're trying to silence witnesses now? Now, this is TMZ's take. As you know, Diddy was arrested in September on federal charges. He faces a possible life sentence in prison. Baby, with Mark Agnifila at the ones and twos, he might actually get the electric chair. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me how it will happen. But the way Mark's going, baby, they might change legislation to make a special to make a special exception. They said in its sending filing, Diddy also claims the courts have an independent obligation to avoid the creation of a cornable atmosphere in high profile cases, and his own case, rest assured, lands in that category. What's more, Diddy says the witnesses' attorneys need to put a muzzle on it, citing a rule that requires lawyers involved in criminal matters to refrain from making unauthorized statements related to the character or reputation of the accused. But the lawyers aren't making that. The witnesses are. The lawyers represent the witnesses. They're not making these statements on their own behalf. They're not saying, oh, I think. They weren't the ones that were victims. You realize, yeah, that's a cute thing, but as a lawyer is making independent statements. The lawyer, first and foremost, has a right to represent the client's interests. You know, Mark Agnifilio is trying to do that for you. The lawyers have a right to represent the client's interests, okay? And if the clients say that you're a monster, maybe the lawyer has to go out and say they're a monster too. In no way should your criminal case and you being held accountable for what happened in any way, shape, or form put a muzzle on people getting their justice. He says it's no secret that he's been the subject of a wave of inflammatory comments from witnesses and their attorneys to the media, destroying his character before his trials even begun. He goes on to say several of these lawyers have made shockingly presidential and false allegations of SA and abuse to various news outlets. So now you're going after Tony Busby. Blackburn wasn't enough. Now you want to go out to Busby. They're not making inflammatory statements. They're talking about what their clients told them. There is a difference. In other words, Diddy's asking the judge to shut these people up so he can have a fair shot at winning the case, right? At winning the case. Y'all, listen, Diddy's fair shot at winning the case. Now you want the government to shut up the victims. It's not enough that you victimize them, but now you want the government to tell the victims to shut up. It's crazy. Listen, at the end of the day, okay? At the end of the day, it is what it is. Let's get into this court documents, right? The order is to prohibit further extrajudicial statements from prosecuting prospective witnesses and their lawyers that subsequently interfere with his right to a fair trial. Um, this is after Busby said that Diddy aggressively approached the team with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her, and said, "You're here to party." In other lawsuits, he was doing a Harlem Shake on video with a 69 sweatshirt while a freak off was about to commence. Listen, he is a menace to society. We will go over this exact motion later. Listen, they also accuse the government of actually saying, in addition, to the extent the government has directed or authorized such extrajudicial statements contrary to its own obligations to ensure a fair trial, we request that the court direct the government to disclose such communications. Finally, this request is time sensitive. Each day that passes brings a fresh wave of publicity, often to the direction of accusers and their counsels. Yeah, Diddy, good luck. You're a piece of ish. You victimize these people. They finally get the courage to come out. And now you want to silence them, saying that them telling their truth means that you can't get a fair trial. A fair trial means that all truth will be revealed and a jury will decide what the punishment is. You do not know the definition of a fair trial, just like Diddy doesn't know the definition of consent, just like the Diddy doesn't know the definition of hiring competent legal counsel, just like, in my opinion, just like Diddy doesn't know the definition, and neither does his mama, of what constitute sex trafficking, non-consensual, grape. He doesn't know the definition of anything, including humility. Why can't I talk? Dignity, right? Shame or disgrace. But baby, he gonna learn what the definition of shame and disgrace is. You guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that this is hindering Diddy's right to a fair trial? Do you believe he had the gall to request that the witnesses be silenced? Do you think, and again, let me tell you something, they're still running, in my opinion, game on trying to intimidate witnesses. They are doing everything they can to get a hold of the witness list before trial. The witness list is usually given after discovery. They haven't even entered into discovery. They haven't even done the superseding indictments. Diddy is trying to get his hands on that witness list. And I believe he wants it because he still plans to run the same play. At this point, I'm glad the government has him locked up. Diddy is dangerous. He has nothing more to lose. And I believe he will do anything or anyone to win his freedom. Y'all stay woke on this. We'll go live with Mark Agnifilio's filing later on. But in the meantime, y'all better stay woke. Also, the live I did last night, I'm going to splice it up into digestible segments in case you don't want to watch the whole live so you can get through the various things. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.